It's really orange here. Yes. Okay. So anyways, did you guys get together and hash out what you guys wanted to talk about? You know, basically what
Yeah, well, I mean,
go ahead.
in my opinion, the table topics that you sent were perfect, I thought. So, yeah, I didn't have any problem with them, and it was exactly on the scope of talk that you and I had as well. So that works out pretty perfectly too. So, and to my knowledge, Adrian,
how's everything in the podcast?
we haven't really done anything because, well, we've got different events going on in our life too. So. What's that?
I follow you guys.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Awesome.
So we haven't really done anything too much right now. It's been more so like like I told you on our last video chat was that for me, I'm building a new business right now, and then Adrian's going through his wedding stuff. Like that's very, very large part of his life.
Congratulations.
Kind of all know in this one. So
Yeah.
Good.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
give me a little bit of your
running.
history. Sorry. You want to, just
on my what?
Briefly talk about, you, because last time I heard everything about
your history.
Oh, my history.
Yeah.
So my history.
Speak up or forever hold your peace, Adrian.
I think our internet is kind of freezing up a little bit.
Oh, his internet? My internet's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But it was my fault probably. But yeah, I started running my father's business, which is parking lot sweeping, and so I started running my dad's business while he did some other things to mostly retire. And I also played baseball in college and started, that was my plan A, to do baseball and go big leagues, because my brother made the big leagues, but I had a different path, I guess, so because I got hurt in college and had to run to my plan B, and I got into special ed, teaching in a way, while instructional assistant, being on one-on-ones, and fell in love with that career path, and going back to school to finish and become a teacher. But right now I'm an instructional assistant with another teacher. I collaborate English and history, and I also coach baseball, which is also another love of my life. So being a coach, trying to become a teacher, and also teaching these young kids, and mostly seniors and juniors, is our future in a way. And these kids that are pushing to become professional in the sport, and help them any way I can, because I have to be a parent also, because they don't have father figures, and so it's something I love and I really appreciate. So this whole podcast for us is something around our ballpark, because Damian has a tremendous resume and a lot of businesses, and being a very smart person and business person. Yeah.
That is plural.
Yeah.
I hope there's a lot of dollars after the businesses too. But that's okay. It's the passion. That's what counts, is the passion, right?
Correct.
Yep.
That's the driver of all of every one of them that I've ever done is, like I told you, and Adrian knows this as well, is like, for me, I love service. I just love service. I love making people happy. And it shows because my smile just covers my face. And especially when I know I did a good job, it's like one of those things that I'm like, hell yeah, like it's really cool to be able to see that the happiness from someone else due to what I was able to do for them. So yeah, it's nice. It's very cool. Morals are definitely aligned.
Good, good. That's what counts the most,
So,
right? So, so this podcast of yours, we talked about like the journeys
I
of,
believe I kind of cut out.
oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good now. It's
Oh,
like
you know what?
chopping up a little bit.
Let me turn it
Yeah.
up.
Well,
Here, I think this is better. Okay. Hold up because my pups are barking. Can you hold on? Can you guys hear me?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Okay, hold on.
How you doing, Damian? Yeah. How you doing, Damian?
I'm good. Just got off of a strategy phone call for some clients. So trying to
More money, more money.
trying. Well, I mean, it's more so just being able to help these people. Like, for example, one of my clients, $38 billion net worth, and helping him save about $300 million. So that's going to be a pretty gnarly one for sure. Just some tax.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's awesome. What is it? What does that guy do? Oh, well, I don't know if that's confidential.
Yeah,
No,
it's
it's not really.
confidential.
Some of it is, but I can say the stuff that is not, which is like he's got like him and Jeff Bezos are personal friends,
Mhm.
and
Oh, really?
he's doing something in the space exploration side of things, which basically the plans for that is they're basically like coming all together, like everybody's coming together to put monies together to create space pods that can actually shoot out into space and actually save astronauts whenever they need it. They can just shoot them out, get them, and then bring them back to Earth. And that's one of the things that's going on right now. But he's in the medical industry, so he's the one that's got mobile facilities being set up all across the nation to help with the COVID deal, to do the testing and everything for that. So that's a really good thing for them. In that one alone, in that business alone is a $38 billion company. So yeah, it's insane, but he knows how to make money, but he doesn't know how to shelter some things. So that's what I'm helping with. So,
well, nobody's perfect, so
I mean,
some,
we can try. We can try.
yeah, but we always have those. We gotta have some flaws, you know.
What are you talking about? No, I'm kidding.
You might be good at everything,
Fuck no,
but
I'm not. I wish I was.
you're not the best at everything. So
I
it's always
wish I was really good at everything. I wish.
I think we all are. It's just that the way we deliver things.
Yeah.
I would actually agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm on party.
We can take it all in. It's just like, let me sit back. How do I put it together and formulate it?
Yeah, exactly. Come out with a strategic plan. So what about you, Bernie? Obviously, I know about you, but Adrian doesn't.
Yeah, I don't.
Adrian. So basically, I have I've developed an app right now. Actually, I'm going through. Well, it's called Lock, and Norton just gave me a demand letter because the fuckers just want to, say I own Lock and the word Lock and the word and the logo. And they just have a lot of that threatening letters to a lot of these small companies that actually have the word lock in them. So I've got a meeting with, I've got my lawyer talk to their lawyer, but they're pretty big. They're Fenwick. So coming back, my background's in compliance and finance, and
Got it.
so in compliance, I was more on operations risk as well as the industry-wise. When they talk about that, it's finance and pharmaceutical. So I was in the drug arena, pharmaceutical drug making. So it's not like any kind of drugs, um, OTC, over the counter. It's really just a
Yeah.
drug. The development, and also with the finance, I was with the Federal Home Loan Banks, which is the wholesale bankers. We funded banks, which is what we call retail bankers, and your insurance folks. Your insurance folks have your own regulation. My regulation is under the Treasury. So I wanted to get out of that because I've been in it for over 20 years. And just, thinking about all the things that we do in life, I wanted to make it more practical instead of using spreadsheets and certain apps. So I put together an app that pretty much puts together a checklist when you want to develop a data governance program, you want to develop a records management program, you want to develop,
Wow.
you want to develop like a cybersecurity program. I have that, but right
Amazing.
now I'm launching it, and I launched it kind of soft right now because of the fact that, this letter just came in, and that demand letter is just asking me to not put lock and also the signage in it. So,
Is
you
it
know,
not a cease and desist?
yeah, it is, but it's
Okay.
not cease and desist, but just don't use the word lock and don't use the word insignia of lock,
Gotcha.
which is bullshit because everybody else has lock and everybody else has the freaking insignia of
Yeah.
not defaming.
That's-
And,
that's it.
and Norton's a firewall. So,
Yeah, exactly.
when you're doing your app, Damian, make sure that your name that you trademark, like I told you, you need to have an IP lawyer, is that you need to make sure that your app is actually covered through everything. And you're going to go through this if they do if your name is not really that common, but mine was very common. So it's okay. I mean, I've never gone through this. This is my first time. So basically, this podcast is something that I do on the side that I've been doing for about a year and a couple months now. And
You and
that's
this-
on Brush Podcast. So Brush Podcast allowed me to voice and also communicate virtually with the artist community. And it allowed me to voice from different countries, not just the US, that allows me to talk to them and say, what are the things that you guys do that makes you tick and keeps you going? What makes you actually motivates you and empowers you? Because sometimes, we don't want to pick up that pen or that damn computer or whatever that you guys are working on. So in that sense, I wanted to have some kind of one-on-one talk with them, and it's allowed them to voice what they felt, and also allowed other communities out there to just listen in on it. So then, this podcast, I don't know, Damian, did I tell you I was starting another one?
No.
Oh, shit. So I started
Another one?
another one. You'll look it up. It's called Wired In Podcast.
Wired
I
in.
only have like 5 or
That's the
6.
name. Wired
Yeah,
in.
Huh?
that's
Wired
very
In.
good.
So it's called Wired In Podcast, and this is on my company because it's all about data governance and it's all about information governance. And, but I wanted to focus on the human skills of folks entering into the professional world, like, millennials or either anybody who just got out of high school who wants to go into that desk or, whatever that you guys, not nowadays, we don't have desks. Now we're virtual, right? So what are the kind of mindsets that these C-levels, I mean, I've had chief of staffs on the interview. I've had renowned authors, just basically all these folks that are pretty much knowledgeable, deep knowledge over information, data, and governance. So that's why I started this other one, so it can open up a different perspective over, professional world, not just, here you and I are meeting, but
Right.
folks that are out there that are just getting out of high school and getting out of college. What are the human skills that we need to allow them to be prepared? You're not going to get that through college because, going through graduate school, I didn't learn that. And I didn't learn that from bachelor school either, undergrad. So that's, you know, these things, people don't have to take 40 years to learn all this stuff.
Right. And you're just speaking in regards to specifically for professional careers, correct?
Professionals and also managers. I mean, anybody. Got to have those human skills. What are they?
Right. That's something that can't be, it can be taught, but you have to have that life experience to go along with it in order to really hone in on the skill. Because like you can't do, like for phone sales, for example, you can't just pick up the phone and like the first try, like go ahead and call somebody you never have ever spoken with in your life and just be like, oh yeah, hey, I'm da-da-da-da-da-da. You literally, the marbles, we call it in my world, it's called getting the marbles out of your mouth. And because the first about 20 phone calls are going to be the shittiest phone calls you've ever really wanted. And then it's going to be like that for weeks. And then like as the days like progress, the number of which the phone calls is going to take for you to get the marbles out of your mouth is going to lessen and lessen and lessen. So when you first start out, you know, it's going to be like 20 phone calls that until you're like good to go for the day. And then like, you know, the days progress and it gets lower and lower and lower because you're literally working on your personal skills to like assist somebody else with whatever knowledge they don't have. Or let's say in the professional world, like what you're talking about, like, you know, if you're a banker, if you're a manager, how are you going to specifically handle somebody that's being incompetent whenever they are hired for their competence? It's like one of those type of things. And so I definitely understand that for damn sure.
And also like, you know, another thing is like, how can you pivot when it comes to a certain challenge in regards to team building or either some type of communication that you may not learn because you, Adrian, learn a different way. So nowadays training is so different. It's not like here's a procedure, you know, on a cold call on the sales, here's a list of, you know, what you need to do. It's not like that anymore. You have to kind of cater to their character.
Yeah.
So
that's the number one thing that I say. I've been able to train over 150 people in my lifetime so far. Just at the last company that I was with, and you know, everybody. That's a very big fact that nobody ever goes over is the fact that everybody's got their own style of handling people and speaking with people. So you can't have one script that fits all. You can have one script and you say, however the fuck you're going to talk about this and say this, do it in your own style because it's really going to show, and you don't want the other person like thinking that you're reading from a script. You want them to know that you're having an actual personal interaction with them that makes it original. A very big deal.
And it's like, you know, this podcast thing, no one is actually, not a lot of people are going through TVs, and you know, people are buying Apple TVs and people are buying different kinds of TVs and they're subscribing to different kinds of channel now. So why not with the podcast? It's a new way of communicating, in a new way of learning things, right?
Absolutely right.
I think that's probably one of the reasons why I put this podcast together. I didn't know that it was going to open up this much to different kinds of mindsets, you know? I mean, it went from art to professional, right? And that was only a year ago. And then when I told my folks that from the professional field, it's like, hell yeah. I mean, like if you're in a trade association, you're in school trade association, Damian, you're in insurance association. Who has a podcast on insurance? Who has a podcast on teaching? No one. Not a lot of people out there.
Yeah, not a lot of people. There's a few, but not a lot.
Right.
And they're very boring.
Right. That's right.
They are. They fucking are. Like they're like robots, and I'm just like, holy shit, that's not you. Like, I don't understand how you even have a fan base if you even have one. But like, holy shit, I'm going to sleep just listening to you.
So then I also edited one right before this call. So this guy's Robert Signer. He is like the data guru. And the one before that was Tyrene. She's down earth. And then the other one was some Robert Smallwood, another information governance guru. He wanted it very formal. And this other guy who I just had goes, I don't want that I don't want that formal. You snip me off. You snip me off with so many things. Like, it's not even formal. We weren't even talking. You just like cut me off in a lot of things. I'm like, well, some folks, wanted it this way. He goes, no, I wanted it this way. So
wait, you actually do that to where like you edit it, you don't let it go all the way through? Really? Oh my, fuck that. Hell no. We don't fucking do that shit. We just let it go. Let it go.
Yeah, well, there's some things
Unscripted.
Yeah, for real.
that people talked about and said, there's some like bad words, not like, especially they're in this like title. So, they just said, can you just like.
So do they piss and shit too? I mean, come on. Do they shit Rosemary? Like,
I know, isn't that weird? I was like, sign of the times, you guys, what happened to the Fifth Amendment? You guys can do whatever you want, and why can't we say it? Why can't we just say all this stuff and not be criticized?
Hey, Adrian, I would love for us to have one of those guests, and Bernie, you too. I would love for us to have one of those guests just so they can say, I'm fucking out.
Oh.
That'd be fucking hilarious. I would be dying laughing because I'm not gonna edit anything. Our
podcast should also be named Unscripted, Unedited Podcast. Like, no fucks given. Hashtag no fucks given. Like, come on.
That's it. Hey, you'll probably get more followers.
Hey, you know what? We might have to switch it up. Unscripted, Unedited Podcast.
There's one podcast that's called Sex Hurts, and you know what it's about? Nothing about sex.
Are you serious?
Yeah, look at
I really thought it was like about all the pains of sex, like how it could help. I mean, how it could hurt.
Yeah.
It's an eye catcher, though. You see sex, like, what?
Right.
Let's check this out real quick.
Right.
Yeah.
She wanted to follow me. I'm like, I'm wired in. Should I even follow her back? I don't know. I'm wired in.
Yeah, that's hilarious. So for Bernie, what was the reason? What was the reason that you wanted to actually start this podcast? Or actually, what's the reason?
Yeah.
Well, actually, you already said about the wired in. So what was the reason that you started this podcast that we're on right now?
I wanted this because I wanted to collaborate with other podcasters. It's not a movement, it's a community of one. We should be able to be talking like this. I'll pick up a phone or either just, hey, Damian, hey, Adrian, let's go and talk. Because we all communicate with one another through your podcast. I listen to you, you listen to me. But why can't we just have one-on-one podcasts or many podcasters into one podcast where we're actually communicating and telling each other, hey, how was the podcast? How do you start the podcast? What pains did you have? I know I had a pain on like editing. Editing is like the worst thing on my list on podcasting, which you guys don't have because you guys don't fucking edit.
Well, see,
the best thing, post it. Let's go.
Well, see, like that's kind of misconstrued too, because the only thing I really have to edit is the way that the color balance is and the microphone. Those are the only two things that I have to really edit. And like where it comes in and where it cuts off. Those are the only things I have to edit. Whenever I do vlogging stuff, that's a pain in the ass and takes a few days. Especially if I'm doing daily stuff, like that's gone over an entire week's worth of stuff. That's a bit gnarlier, but
yeah,
I like to keep it original, like completely, like, I don't want someone to feel like they got scammed out.
Yeah, I like it raw too, but there are some where it's just like, yeah, what?
Yeah, it's like kind of
that I remember how we started too, because I was pretty terrible. Damian's always been a very entertaining person, so I mean, I'm entertaining in my own social circle, but like, in this video recording and you sometimes you blank out, like that's why like the whole scripted thing sometimes just doesn't work. You just gotta roll with it. So our first few times, I gotta say I wasn't that great, and I've grown like. I mean, I'm pretty good now, so that's all I gotta say.
I would say this: Adrian is night and day from where we started to where we are today. He's night and day. Like, he's actually like, you see this, like, you see this man, like this sexy dude right here, just like,
That's
you
right,
know,
brother.
he's confident in the camera. When we started this, like, well, actually a year and a half ago now, he was not this way at all, like at all. Like, it was kind of just like, you know, I have to push him and push him and push him. And now it's just like, all right, it's autopilot on this bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta shut him up here and there. I'm like, all right, Damian.
All
I'm
right.
not time to talk.
Okay, Damian. You know, it builds confidence, honestly. When you're an introvert, right? When you're presenting, you don't know what to say because it's a screen and you're probably, I mean, you guys did the YouTube and also the podcasting one-on-one with each other. You guys knew each other. But for folks that are just like total podcasters just on screen, or either I would bring my Yeti to my internet. I'm serious, with my laptop.
Yeah, same. Hey, same with us. I mean, you've seen the videos. Like, we do the same shit, and it was actually really funny because before we did this, Adrian and I did not really know one another. Like,
No.
as we learned so much about one another through, what have we done, like 30, 48 hours worth of content, some shit like that, like something like that. We've learned so much about one another, and we got closer with one another through doing our podcast, that it was amazing because the relationship, our friendship and relationship, got even deeper than what I think we both of us either had ever imagined it would have ever been.
Yeah,
But
I think I feel like we fell in love with each other more. How we connect and how we can help and influence, and we caught up a lot because we wouldn't talk for like a week, and then once week we caught up and understood our experiences and our thoughts and how to help build and help and all this stuff for other influences and other young kids that want to podcast and want to go into this business.
And that's the key thing, right? Because you guys influence, you guys learned to communicate deeper in a different language.
Well, see,
in a different manner. And I think this is where we can start this way with other podcasters, with other people, to allow us to collaborate and connect. Because you guys didn't know each other. You guys didn't connect before. And
we
now
did, but it wasn't like, it was more above surface level, if you will. Like, here's the surface and we're like just a little bit of air gap right there. But now, like, you know, for me, it's really one of those things that, you know, I hate surface level conversations. I fucking hate them. I will not stand them. And so for me, like, if I see that you're doing like some type of surface level bullshit, like Bernie, for you, like the first time you and I did a Zoom, there was no such thing as a surface, like, at all. We just fucking
no
dove into
bullshit
it.
to me. I give you the cake. I don't fucking give you the icing.
No, but it was really cool though, because
You want something? All right, I'll slice it for you.
Yeah, no, seriously. That's how I personally like conversations to be. I have a very hard time doing surface level conversations because I'm trying to get to know you and like reasons of you being here and knowing what you know and all this stuff. So that's like even venturing in that for us. I mean, Adrian, you can tell me if I'm wrong on this one, but like, and I don't mean to speak for you, I speak for me, but like,
oh yeah, right.
no, seriously.
That's not gonna laugh.
Adrian's like, Damian, I think it's time for me to talk.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like, I mean, okay, so let's switch the script then. Like, Adrian, like, what was your reason that you wanted us to do this?
Well, mostly.
Hold up. I'm running out of time, and it's telling me to upgrade now to remove the 40-minute limit.
No, all we have to do.
Way.
No. All you have to do is end the record. We all get out, and then we get back in, and then record, and then Adrian goes on.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So it stops, and then the recording, and then we'll go back on?
Stop recording. We all leave. We all get back in, start recording, and then Adrian
Damn, you're good.
We're just helping each other.
Okay, sorry. We're going to stop.